what is neuroplasticity? We hear this question a lot, and neuroplasticity is a particular interest to me personally, especially when I'm seeing a lot of patients who have had brain injury and how to overcome that injury. But neuroplasticity is happening in all of us all the time, and it is the brain's ability to change to maximize its efficiency and overcome new challenges. So that has two primary components. One is growing and creating new networks, and the other is taking down disrepaired networks, inefficient networks, or obsolete networks. So it's this constant change in the brain because we've only got so much space, we only have so many resources, so we have to maximize the efficiency with which we are utilizing those networks. And by creating those networks, we're able to improve them bit by bit by bit by bit. There's a saying, practice makes perfect, right? If you take, for instance, throwing a baseball, we just had the World Series. Now, the guy that just won this World Series probably wasn't quite as good as throwing that baseball, even though obviously he must have had a tremendous natural talent. But compared to when he was 12 and started throwing that ball, and when he won the World Series, obviously there's an entire galaxy of improvement. So what's happening? Every time he practices throwing that ball, his brain is slightly refining that network. So that network says, I've got to recruit this much muscle to get to this speed. I've got to have my shoulder, my arm, my wrist at this particular angle through this chain of this kinetic chain, this chain of motion. I've got to have my release at this particular point. I've got to snap my wrist this way. I've got to position my body this way. I've got to twist my body this way. So all of those tiny, tiny, tiny changes are subtly adjusted over time to make that network absolutely perfect so that he can execute that pitch every single time perfectly, regardless of the circumstances. Tired, extra innings, all the pressure of the World Series, he still is able to execute that throw perfectly over and over and over again. And that ability of the brain to change and constantly improve is what I believe to be our most powerful asset and one of the defining features of what it means to be human.